In this video series, I would like to share my life story with you. I'm going to talk about different challenges I've been gone through and how did I overcome them. I'll start from the beginning. As a child, I was quite similar to all other boys at my age. I was very joyful and I liked to play all day long. Computers and mobile phones weren't so common back then, so most of the time I was playing outside. I was extremely brave and I liked to climb everywhere I could. Even though I got hurt many times, I never felt scared to do crazy things. I liked riding a bicycle and I often went on different small adventures with my friends. I even caused a lot of trouble like any normal boy. I was confident, energetic, and I had a lot of friends at school. One of the main reasons why I was respected by other boys was my faithful legs. When we had relay races at school, I was usually one of the first classmates who was invited to a team because of my quick running skills. This helped me to fit in very well. In addition, my legs gave me a lot of power and self-confidence. Thanks to my legs, I could do everything I wanted. I was free and independent. I could go anywhere and express myself in a lot of ways. My legs meant everything to me. They were the core of my strength and pride. But on one fateful day, everything changed. I was 9 years old, waiting for one of my friend's birthday party. I was also invited to my grandmother's birthday by my family, but I refused. I chose to stay home and go to my friend's place instead. But before that, I went to a nearby shop to buy some snacks, and I also met a few friends. There were still about 2 hours until the birthday party, so we decided to do something fun in the meantime. There was a construction site near my home, which was our typical playground. We had gone there dozens of times before. On that day, we decided to play hide and seek there and split into two teams. We crawled through the hollow spaces of long blocks of concrete, made silent movements and scouted around the place, sometimes lifting our heads up to see where the other boys were located. I felt very excited, like normally. Nothing seemed to be different. But suddenly, after my teammate had finished scouting, he jumped off the concrete block, which put another one moving. I was directly in front of it. As soon as I realized that, I was already on the ground, with my face down, noticing only some dust flying around. My spine was crushed by a massive block, which weighed about 1.5 tons. I had no idea how, but my head and hands were untouched. It was a miracle that I even survived. While I was laying there on my stomach, I never lost my consciousness, nor did I even feel any pain, but I was completely stuck. At first, I tried to pull myself out with my hands, but it was hopeless. I started to call for help, and my teammate freaked out and ran away somewhere. The other boys, who were farther away, thought that I was just fooling around and didn't want to reveal themselves. After some time, luckily they still came to me, realized what had happened, and ran to a shop to call the ambulance. I stayed there alone, completely shocked. I started to notice that I didn't feel my legs anymore. I had never experienced something like this before, so it felt very strange. I still desperately made several attempts to get out, but failed. I started to cry. All of my life was flashing before my eyes. I thought I was going to die there, so I started to say goodbye to everyone I knew using my real voice. I said I'm sorry. I was almost ready to let go, but suddenly I heard the ambulance alarm, which was getting louder and louder. Soon my friends arrived with a medical team and the rescue operation began. The medical team used big airbags to lift the concrete block up. This was the first moment I felt pain. Although the nerves from my back to my toes were already shut down, I still felt a tremendous amount of pain coming from the bones as the concrete block was being lifted. I screamed like I was in hell. It turned out that the accident had happened at the exact place where some blocks of wood were placed. It was probably the only reason why I wasn't completely crushed by the massive weight. When they finished, my body looked so deformed, like it had the shape of a frog. They carefully put me into a car and took me to a hospital. My body was completely messed up, but while looking at the clock, my only concern was that I was late to the birthday party where I planned to go. I had no idea what that accident really meant. I remember that when my parents saw me at the hospital, I just smiled at them and thought that everything was going to be just fine. After all, I had already experienced many falls and accidents before. Why it should have been any different from previous times? After a while and initial diagnosis, I was transported to a more advanced hospital in another city. Then I immediately underwent a stomach surgery which put my organs back to the right place. Soon after that I had a spinal surgery for my completely shattered L3 disc. I also had a lot of broken ribs and 2 broken legs, but these were just minor injuries. The doctors told my parents that I would probably never walk again, and maybe even stay in a bed forever. My parents were obviously very shocked, but I was completely unaware of these things and just wanted to sleep and rest at that point. This was a day I'll never forget. It changed my whole life completely, but I would never imagined how it was going to continue from that moment forward. In my mind, I was just visiting the hospital for a while until I would continue my life like I always did.